So, what's art even for? I mean, really, is it just about making something beautiful to hang on a wall, or is there something deeper? Well, the legendary novelist Leo Tolstoy later in his life really wrestled with that question. And the answer he came up with, it absolutely rocked the art world. Okay, let's get into it. Our way into Tolstoy's mind comes from the writer Chiang Hsun. And for him, the key wasn't in some dusty book, it was in a memory. He remembers visiting this young, brilliant painter in a tiny attic room, probably no bigger than your average walk-in closet, tucked away in some narrow city alley. It was this incredibly humble, almost secret little space. And right there, pinned to the wall, was this quote from Tolstoy. It was like the painter's personal mission statement, his life's goal. And this one little handwritten note found in a forgotten attic is basically our launching point for one of the most revolutionary theories of art ever. Yeah, that memory of the painter and his motto, that's the lens for understanding Tolstoy's whole argument. This wasn't about being a famous artist or having perfect technique. It was about finding a much, much higher purpose for art itself. I mean, just picture it. All his canvases were turned to the wall. They weren't there to be shown off. The only thing on display was this ideal. It was this pure, you could almost say utopian, dedication to what art could be. Chiang Hsun really believed it was this kind of idealism that kept artists from just selling out for fame and money. So, what was this big, radical idea? Well, Tolstoy wasn't just trying to tweak a few things. He wanted to tear down the entire foundation of Western art and rebuild it from scratch on a totally new principle. He hits us with this massive question. For centuries, right, we've judged art based on how beautiful it is, aesthetics. But Tolstoy said, nope, we're asking the wrong question. For him, the real measure of art had absolutely nothing to do with beauty. It was all about goodness. And this really breaks it down. On one side, you have the old way, based on beauty. It created art for the rich, the elite. It was often super complex and obscure, basically an expensive decoration for fancy people. But Tolstoy's way, based on goodness, was for everybody. He believed art should be simple, clear, and aiming for something way bigger, a sense of universal brotherhood, a tool to connect us all. And you gotta understand, this wasn't just some academic paper he wrote. This came from a deep personal crisis. After writing masterpieces like War and Peace, he looked around at the world of artists and authors, including himself, and he was disgusted. He saw them as immoral, arrogant people chasing money and fame, all while pretending to teach the masses. His theory of art was really an act of confession, of repentance. Now, to really feel the urgency behind what Tolstoy was saying, Chiang Hsun uses this brilliant metaphor. He puts two giants of the 19th century side by side, people who seem like total opposites, the poet Charles Baudelaire and, of course, Tolstoy himself. He describes Baudelaire's work as the illness. See, at a time when all the old beliefs were starting to crumble, Baudelaire just dove right into the darkness. He wrote with this brutal honesty about humanity's sickness, its sadness, its twisted parts. He wasn't celebrating it, he was creating a painfully accurate medical chart of the human condition. And if Baudelaire diagnosed the illness, Tolstoy wrote the prescription. His work is like a blast of sunlight, a powerful call for a cure. It's a demand for art to heal us, to lift us up, and to fix the very sickness that Baudelaire had put under a microscope. Now here's the key insight. They aren't enemies. They actually complete each other. Chiang Hsun's point is that you can only really truly crave Tolstoy's pure vision of goodness after you've stared into the dark abyss with Baudelaire. The diagnosis makes you desperate for the cure. It makes perfect sense. Okay, so this all sounds pretty abstract, right? Illness, prescription. But Tolstoy wasn't just talking in theories. He gave this really powerful, real-world example to show exactly what he meant by true unifying art. So, picture this. On one hand, you have a group of women in a village singing their hearts out because a daughter has come home. The song is simple, it's real, and it's deeply moving because everyone understands that feeling. Now, on the other hand, you're in a fancy salon listening to a super complex piece by Beethoven. The audience claps and pretends to get it, but it's not about feeling. It's about showing off their social status. For Tolstoy, that first one was real art. The second, a total counterfeit. And that's exactly why he championed things like fables and folk songs. It's not because they're simple in a dumb way. They're profound because their emotional truth speaks to everyone, not just a handful of highly educated elites. They get right to the heart of what it means to be human. So where does this leave the artist? Well, Tolstoy's vision isn't just a cool theory.
It's a demanding, lifelong mission. It totally redefines what it even means to be an artist.
According to Tolstoy, a true artist has to reject all the toxic stuff, the vanity, the greed, the thirst for fame. The point isn't to make yourself look good, it's to make yourself a better person. It's about creating love and tolerance. And this is the most radical part. Being an artist doesn't give you special rights. It gives you an obligation to serve, to work through your own struggles for the good of everyone else. And that's really the heart of it all. For Tolstoy, you can't separate the act of making art from the act of moral growth. The goal isn't just to create a pretty object for a museum. The goal is to use the whole process to become a better human being, and by doing that, help lift all of us up too. So that leaves us with something to think about. Think about the art you truly love, a song, a movie, a book. What is it for you? Is it an ornament, just there to decorate your life? Is it a mirror, like Baudelaire's work, showing you a hard truth about yourself or the world? Or is it a medicine, like Tolstoy dreamed of, something that offers a path to healing and connection?